you scratched the surface, Carmen, on something. You didn't say the word, but you did kind of hint at it a little bit. Gentrification.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, gentrification is happening all over. And I think the most egregious part of gentrification is really displacement. I mean, there are a lot of folks who, have been working together to try and get certain amenities in their neighborhood, want their kids to grow up in a healthy place, want access to various things, but they don't want to be displaced in the process. East Austin wasn't as appealing to folks who weren't forced to live there for decades until the community kicked out some of the biggest toxic polluters, industrial, zoning. Zoning was used to put all of the industrial zoning where people of color lived. And that's true in most of the master plans across the country. Yeah. So once that stuff was gone, those areas became a lot more appealing. And, should you have to leave your neighborhood just because there's no longer cancer-causing toxic facilities there? I think we can see amenities and improvements, but we need to have tools and mechanisms to keep people from being displaced. Now, if they really want to move on, if you want to sell your home and get a good profit for it, I'm not saying that should be prohibited, but a lot of people are leaving their homes because they can't afford the tax burden, they can't afford the repairs, they don't have access, they don't know about the programs that do exist, and the existing programs are underfunded. But I think at the heart of this, there's a public process question. And I really think that there are some beautiful things that happen when developers and neighborhoods can talk to each other in the beginning. That's my fear with CodeNEXT, is that when we give by right entitlements for denser zoning, upzoning, it takes the incentive for the developer to speak with the neighborhoods away. And usually the big political fight comes because the public finds out last that something's going to happen and they don't like it, and so they start fighting.
Sure.
But in my experience, having grown up here, I serve on my own neighborhood plan contact team. I've watched an East Austin one be really successful for almost 15 years now. And when the developer comes and talks to the community first and they can work out some deals, and even better, there's some funding to help offset some of that developer's costs, some beautiful things happen, and then it flies through the permitting process downtown. It becomes much easier to navigate the bureaucracy because there's been some deals cut up front. But if we take away that process, then we take out that negotiation, we get less creative with it, I think. And that's the big danger that I see with CodeNEXT.
This is not only potentially affecting property values, but also our traffic flow.
Correct.
The way things are,
where things can be built.
What's going to go where, why it's going to go there, what is it next to?
Oh, they're inextricably linked, and really that also speaks to sprawl. So if houses are too expensive in the middle of town near where you may work, then you've got to go further out to find something affordable, and that means you got to go back in. I think something like 85,000 people commute into 78701 every day. And I saw a good stat the other day, 29% of our jobs are all within 3 miles of downtown, which is one of the highest concentrations of jobs in the country like that. So we really have a very centralized job base, and that means that people have to commute in and out, and that causes traffic problems.
I think I know the answer, but what's the problem with so many people commuting in?
Well, I think any of your listeners that have spent a lot of time, probably your show is soothing them in their commute if they're out there right now. But obviously, it's a quality of life issue, our air quality. Congestion is only a good thing in certain situations where you want, particular tourist destinations downtown to have, more people around them. But if it's people just trying to get in and out of work, it's a huge cost.